This
Okay,
conference will now be recorded.
and we're recording. Everybody's got their agenda in front of them, phones turned off or turned down. Okay, let's go with number one on the agenda, minutes from the September 8th meeting. If you'd like to go through them and just see if there's anything missing. And if everybody's okay with them, I'll get somebody to make a motion to adopt the minutes as presented. Councillor Cowan, Councillor Wright. Call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Great. Thank you. Okay, adoption of the agenda. If everybody's happy with what they see in front of them, I'll get a motion for that one. Councillor Gardner, Councillor Wright. Call for the question. Any discussion? All in favor? Carried. Great. Okay, we have our Sergeant Fefchuk here tonight, and he will do the RCMP report. The floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Okay, figure out where I go with the camera. There you go.
That good there?
Perfect.
Okay. Hello, everyone. I'm Scott. I'm the sergeant in town here. I just transferred in a couple of weeks ago. Sorry, my back's to you there, Mr. Silverstein. You guys have all got a copy of the report, I think. Basically, I'm taking over for Colby from now until we figure out who's going to be coming into the staff sergeant position. Don't anticipate anything until 2021 for that. That's just kind of where it's at right now. Right now, we're supposed to be at 18 regular members. The staffing issues I'll get into in a bit. Right now, we're still working on the priorities here, which is visibility within the communities, which isn't an easy thing sometimes with such a big area. And traffic and crime reduction, we're doing curfew checks on people that need to be checked on. And we're making sure that our prolific offenders are managed as best we can. The school visits and patrols, we've already started some of those things. The members are working on their safe plans, the ones that have been assigned schools. And any schools that have plans updated for their safe plans, that'll be noted in our databases as well. Community activities, check stops and curfew checks, that's just normal things that we do, as long as we're not getting called away for other calls for service. So far for this period, the numbers on page 2 there, they're pretty much consistent with last year, which means we're doing really no better, no worse, depending on how you want to look at it. There's nothing. I've worked with Colby the last 2 weeks, and he didn't find anything that was alarming or disturbing that we're seeing in our area, specifically within the town of Burton. Nothing is out of sorts or anything that, you know, causes us to be concerned about anything. Like I said, with the members, we're in the midst of hiring another municipal employee through the town. So we'll look forward to that. And we're just shy one regular member right now. Another member is scheduled to transfer out. Constable Blakely will be going up to God's Lake Narrows. And there's other things in the pipe. With the staffing levels, there isn't really much help on the way anytime soon. They've had depots shut down because of COVID, and they haven't been processing applicants. They haven't been doing background or security checks. So right now, the people that we have are the people that we have, and there's not going to be a lot of room for backfilling or anything like that. So it's probably going to get better before it gets worse as far as manpower for us. So that's something we're just going to have to try and manage as best we can. That is pretty much all I have, unless there's any questions.
You know, I've noticed lots of kids riding their bikes down the sidewalk, shooting right out into traffic, didn't even look.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if they still do safety in the schools.
When I was in Moose, when we did bike rodeos, I don't know if that's anything they're doing now. I don't.
You know, they haven't.
No, they haven't.
For years, but I think good idea.
I got here at the end of summer, so I'm not sure what's been.
But I'm just saying, like, and some of these kids are in high school, some are in grade schools, but it's I know they shoot out past there going towards Chicken Chef. They just come across there at full tilt, don't even look.
That's probably something if we get into the school programs at school, you know, and these rodeos where they have them. So I remember years ago, there was one.
Yeah.
And I mean, you can teach kids and have their attention for about 5 minutes and then hopefully it lasts. But as a rule, it doesn't.
Yeah.
But no, good point to bring up. Does anybody else get any questions? No?
I got a little bit of a point too. It's kind of a kid thing, same as Carl. We have a group of kids right now, which I think is great. I live by the creek. The creek is like a very popular place. They've got fishing poles, they've got everything. I just wondered if you're in the school, if reminding kids that once it gets cold, they really have to be careful down there is one of the things that you do. Because I worry about them once it gets colder in the ice and then they're met like, right now, literally there's groups of them with fishing poles and they're catching frogs. They might be catching beavers for all I know. They're very excited. But I worry a little bit about the warnings about staying off the creek. I just wondered if that was you when you're in the school.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of things that we can talk about depending on what grade we're looking at. Grade 11s and 12s, if we're talking to them, they generally don't want to hear about walking on the creek.
These kids are probably like 8 to 11 or 12, you know,
Yeah,
as in 8 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, just old enough to kind of be on their own for a little bit.
Yeah, and it's all good, but I just wonder because it's so popular right now if they remember how the ice thing works and that. Having
Right.
been the mother of boys who have no fear, I just have that worry. So that's probably something you guys deal with. So
Okay, I'll make sure that the kids at the schools, the members at the school know to talk to the kids about that. And with the bike thing too.
Yeah.
Uh,
I had one question. What do we get for in town? How many members?
Like for assigned to town, it's full. It's full. Yeah,
Total what?
I think it's 4 or 5. Do you know?
Well, it's.
The municipal?
Five,
Yeah, 5.
But I think it's 4 members that, like.
And a DSA.
Yeah.
Yeah. And did you say a corporal?
No, yeah, one part.
Yeah, I haven't actually taken the time to look at the org chart
I
yet.
have 4 here listed, but that's regular.
Okay. No, that's, I'm always wondering just how many we had. Maybe keep an eye to, I sometimes wonder if we maybe should have more members here as the taxpayers can afford it, of course. But I'm just wondering with the way things are changing in society, if it's something that we should be looking at down the road.
Like for more?
You know, maybe have 1 or 2 more members in the system.
This is the first time I've ever said that. But it's a good thought. I don't think right now it's even something we could make 4 new positions right now for the entire area and we're not where they're gonna come from.
Right.
We got more people retiring than jumping on board. So that's why I was talking about, being behind the 8 ball.
Right.
We're just negotiating salaries right now. I'm sure you guys have been informed that there's a bit of they're worried about back pay and stuff depending on how negotiations go with Treasury Board. So that's a part of it too. We haven't really been that desirable of a police force right now, unfortunately, just because, first of all, not a lot of people want to be police officers. And with the RCMP, we've kind of fallen back. We used to always be in the top 3. And now I think the last time I was talking, we were 130th out of 140th. So it's not, they'll go to Winnipeg, they'll go to Brandon, they'll go wherever. So that's just the reality and it's not
Right.
anyone's fault, but yeah, that's great that you guys are interested in more. I wish we had more to sell you.
Not a problem. Okay, any other questions for the sergeant? If not, I'll get somebody to accept the motion as the minutes presented to us from the RCMP. Councillor Williams, Councillor Wright. Okay, if there's no more discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Carried. Great. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice seeing you.
Yes, we'll see you guys around.
Yeah, take care. Have a good night.
Got those applications closed tomorrow.
Yes.
So we'll get them together, I'll get Pearl to get them together.
Has there been a lot? Is that right? Like a dozen?
Oh, no, I'm talking between 30 and 40,
Are you kidding me?
over 30, yeah.
For a government job.
municipal government job.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, no, it is. It's very good. So, yeah,
Thanks. We'll look forward to getting those.
yeah, I'll touch base with you
And
later.
thanks for your help on the last one.
Oh, yeah, no problem.
Thanks a lot, Keith.
Take care.
See ya.
Have a good night.
You too.
Okay, let's carry on to number 4. Our, Finance, we'll do the town board and waterworks together. And we'd like to take a look at those and see if any of them affect you. Have a glance through them, please. Councilor Wright.
I'll make a motion for them.
Oh, you're making the motion?
Oh, okay, sorry, no, I was just wondering if everybody. Okay, you're making a motion, we accept it, pay these as per, and seconded by Councilor Williams. All right, any discussion on any of the bills? I had one, but I can't remember.
Councilor Callan.
Councilor Collins, sorry, go ahead there.
That's okay. Just looking at waterworks, there's a bunch of checks for heat lamp.
Yes, there's in 5, I believe it's 5 locations around town. We have to put a heat lamp into the manhole in order to keep it from freezing. And so we always pay the homeowner where we connect the heat lamp. But for some reason that got missed for the last 3 years. So we are back paying those people plus paying them for this year.
Good.
Okay. And then also, just one more question. We had a Prairie West meeting and that check hasn't gone out for that agreement.
Oh, okay. So no, thank you for the reminder. The
Yeah.
Prairie,
I just thought it would be good with financials because it's a check that we have to write. So I remember.
yeah, sorry about that.
Great, okay.
I'll
Councilor-
get a reminder, so that got missed.
Councilor Williams.
I was just wondering, check 1609 on the regular one is a hall rental return. Is that just a COVID can't have their event return? Or if there was something, 1609, I think?
Yes, they plan to have, yeah, and they, just because of the numbers, things, yeah.
Yeah, that makes, okay, just checking, perfect.
Great, Councilor Gardner.
Yeah, just to follow up to what Tara was saying there, the check 1697 to Elaine Tudor, that would just go to her estate, would it not?
Oh, didn't realize.
Who's that, sorry?
1697.
1690.
Also, check number 1701, filter upgrades, where was that for? Is that for the well or what is it?
That was for all the engineering that we were getting from associating with helping us with at the plant with the filter upgrades, both the bathroom and the membrane. Because when we replaced the membranes, and we were having some other issues.
Okay, and check number 1678, H. Bully and Sons. Says Unit 145 service. What kind of service did we?
That was putting on the spring onto the new water, the first new waterworks truck, so that it could haul the sewer flusher.
Okay, so it's just a beat spring system that they put in there, an overload system.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what it'd be, is over. Looks great. Okay, anything else? Anybody else have any questions? Okay, we have a motion on the books. We'll call for the question. All in favor? Opposed? Carried, thank you. Now, computer stop, let's jump over here. We'll go on to number 5, AMM issues, and Rhonda, I'll let you handle that one, please.
This was the LGCA consultation for cannabis consumption spaces. And this was in regards to completing the survey that they had put out that they'd asked for stakeholder input on it. Deadline September 30th. I was to bring this back to this meeting to see how you folks wanted to handle this, whether you wanted to respond at all as a council or how you wanted to handle it.
Anybody have any ideas or wishes or concerns or questions? If nobody has any concerns, then I guess we could write them a letter and say we are in support.
Well, there's different questions.
Yeah, I don't like, I don't know that I was in support of all of it. I just honestly, it's not something I was interested in wading into, I guess. I don't know if that was how anybody else thought, or like, there seems to be a lot to it, and I just, I wasn't interested in us sending something either way, I guess was my thought.
Carl?
Yeah, I'm not for putting our stamp of approval on it.
Okay. Good. Councilor Wright?
Well, I would be in favor, but I would think that if we're not making any money off it, like I know the one question asked about the what should be the role of municipalities, if any. Like if we're making money off it, I care, but if we're not, I don't think we need to hash out what our, like I think that's more of a personal opinion on the subject. So I would say we don't answer the survey if we don't see any, if our municipality doesn't see any money from it, I guess.
Okay, Councilor Carl? Your opinion, please.
I think it's more almost personal. I don't know, like, are you supposed to answer as a group?
I think that's
Because it
kind of,
says list, sorry?
I think that's kind of what they're looking for, the support or non-support of council as a whole. But you're right, it is kind of a personal item to a point.
Yeah. I guess like I'm with Whitney, I am in favor if we can make some money off it, some tax dollars. Nothing wrong with that. And honestly, what people choose to do with their lives is their business, not mine. So I don't really, sure, let it happen, don't let it happen. Honestly, it doesn't affect me, but I know it would affect some of our constituents. So if we
Okay.
could make money off it, I don't know. That's my opinion.
Okay, thank you, Councilor Gardner.
Yeah, I feel the same way as Tara and Whitney. If we can get some money out of it, that's fine, but if not, I think we should just stay out of it, keep our noses clean.
Okay, great. So do we want to get some more information on this one or just set it aside?
I guess, and if as an individual you wish to fill it out, you certainly can. And comment on the different questions about this, the selling of edibles, in the various places. And if there will be any impact, not just on the municipalities, but on, possible law enforcement or anything like that. So
Okay, was it,
so you just received that for information then?
yeah. Okay, thank you all. And now we'll move along to, now I guess that kind of covers all of 5.1, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Okay, so we can move along to number 5.2. Rhonda, I'll let you handle that one too, please.
I just wanted to follow up on the email that we received from AMM regarding the temporary personal care home visitation shelters that to advise you that there will be 2 being put into Verdon at the Westman and the Sherwood. And our building inspector is working with, it's actually PCL who's in charge of this project for the province. So we have made contact today, and they will be initiating the permitting process, and he is working closely with them to make sure that this is done in a very quick manner so that they're in place for obviously the winter season when we have to start worrying about the cold weather.
Okay, everybody understands that, Carl? You know what's, that's all good?
Yeah.
Okay, good. All right, thank you.
Did anybody have any questions?
Yeah, was there any questions on that? I guess there'll probably be more information coming down the pipe, so as we get, we'll pass it along to everybody. Okay, number 6. Recommendations from Planning and Finance. Councilor Williams.
I will make the motion that the revenue and expense statements for the last 8 months ending August 31st, 2020 for the Town of Verdon General Operating Fund and Operating Fund be approved.
Can I have a seconder for that, please? Councilor Cowan. Any discussion? Any questions? That's on our financial statement, folks. See none and hearing none, I will call for the question. All those in favor of the motion? Opposed? Carried. Thank you. All right, we're down to, my God, we're moving fast tonight. Number 7, committee reports. Carl, you're nice and close. We'll start with you. Oh, did I miss something?
Yeah, number 7, mural. Do you not have that on yours?
No.
Oh, it's not on the paper one. It's on
Okay,
the,
sorry, that's what I'm reading. And
sorry, yeah,
okay, what was it called again?
mural.
Oh, okay, I'll let you check that one out.
Sorry about that.
No, that's
The
fine.
paper didn't get changed. We just got this letter in, but I wanted to share it with everybody tonight. We received a letter from Arts Mosaic, and they're wanting to give their sincere thanks and appreciation to the council for their support of the Manitoba Mural Mosaic project. The mural on Gopher Creek Coffee Company is a vibrant celebration of the impact that Verdon has made on the province of Manitoba. The history and culture of Verdon are on display for many to see and for many years to come. And she included various photos of the mural for you folks to review. And they're also posted on the Arts Mosaic website. So once again, thank you for your support of the project from Krista Miller. So yes, I think any of you who have driven by Gopher Creek will have seen what a great job they are.
Looks very nice.
Yes, it does. Very fitting of the theme, I believe.
Okay,
Sorry.
now we'll move on to committee reports. Carl, what do you got to tell us?
Well, I have a meeting coming up on Thursday with the museum board, but we have hired a caretaker or a maintenance person for the evergreen.
Good. Good.
So that's moving ahead.
Excellent. Okay, anything else?
No.
Sure, okay. Councilor Ring.
We had a Prairie West meeting, and our staff is just trying to put together some fall and winter programming and following the guidelines. And I think that's it. I feel like I had another meeting. I can't remember.
Okay, great, thank you. Councilor Williams.
I think all I had was planning and finance last week, and then I've been in the office a couple times to do things in there with yourself or Rhonda, and that's about it.
Okay, great. Councilor Gardner.
Okay, I had a plan, planning and finance meeting last week, and also on the 21st, we had a handyman meeting. where we discussed about a new employee for the handyman, and we'll be meeting, I believe, with him on the 28th to finalize everything. With that, and a few minor repairs to the handyman. That was a bit.
Good, thank you very much. Councilor Powell.
I had a Prairie West meeting and planning and fine.
Okay, we lost you there, but it was Prairie West. I heard that much anyway.
Yeah,
And I had planning and finance. That was it.
There you go. Thank you, dear. Okay, Rhonda.
okay. CFO Max Pinchuk and myself attended an asset management seminar on the 9th. It was really good because it was showing how one of the assets that is always forgotten is your employees, and how you have to evaluate that and make sure that you remember that they are an asset that also has to be accounted for in all of your operations. So it was a really good seminar. I should actually share some of it with you. It was really interesting. Statistics was that there's over 5,000 municipalities in Canada, and so if only 10% of them were looking for well-trained staff, that would be 500 people that were being sought at the same time across just Canada. So, we have to keep that in mind at all times. Anyway, we had the managers meeting then on Thursday instead of Wednesday because of that seminar. I also met with Susan Ivey at the museum to go over just some of the museum stats. They've done very well considering the year. Revenue is obviously down, but she was able to acquire quite a few grants for the staff that they did have. So yes, kudos to Susan. She works very hard for that.
Yeah.
Just keeping that place going. On the 14th, that was when the finance managers conference started, and mostly Anna attended that. I did pop in for the odd session as well. And also on the 14th at 1:30, our utilities manager, Rutledge, and myself met with our with Water Services Board down at the well site to determine the spot for the second well, and with members from the Arm and Wallace Woodward. There also was West Van Emergency Plan Group meeting that evening at 5 o'clock. And we also did have municipal relations call this past Thursday. I attended a CAMA session on their new toolkit on council orientation, which will be very good for the next council to be used as a tool. We had our MMAA district meeting on the 18th. I've also been working with our new utilities manager, and he is working out very well.
Good.
And he's also worked on a pandemic policy for the utilities department, in which we're going to help to use across our work staff. And he's based it using the different levels, the green, yellow, orange, red, as to how our operations will have to, the wearing of masks, everything, how that will all pan out under each of the different levels.
Good.
And, whether we segregate to certain facilities. So it's something very, and something just to remind everybody too, on right before we had Manitoba Health mandate the wearing of masks, council had passed a resolution highly recommending the wearing of masks in all town-owned facilities, which is here, the rank, whenever you're in contact with the public. So, we would appreciate if, because of staff, I've directed staff to please, whenever they're in contact with public or two in a truck or anywhere where they can't work 6 feet apart, to make sure that they're wearing them. So, I'd really appreciate if you guys could also help us out on that. set the example if you're going into any of our town facilities and, you know, just, because it means a lot to staff and they notice
Yes.
if people aren't doing it. And I think they would really like if people did start wearing them more when they're interacting with them, especially closely. And when there's going to be bigger crowds especially in the rec facility. So we'd appreciate your help.
No problem.
Thank you.
Anything else?
No.
Great. Well, for myself, the finance meetings, and again, like Councilor Williams said, the meetings we've had here with the three of us regarding different things. Again, reiterating what Rhonda said about the mask. If any of you watch on Facebook or watch global news, the second wave, I'm afraid, is probably going to hit us later than sooner, I hope. Quebec, Ontario are having a real tough time, BC, Alberta as well. So the mask thing, I know it's Manitoba's kind of relaxed a wee bit. I think that's wrong, my personal opinion, because I think it's going to come back and bite us in the butt. So I would highly suggest for your own health and for health of your friends and everybody around you, keep those masks on, even in some places you don't have to, but I think I'd sooner talk with you than about you. So please wear those masks. Okay, thank you. Let's carry on if there's nothing else. There's no motion of,
Yes, there is a notice of motion.
is there a notice of motion? Okay, sorry, that's a first. We're so used to just skipping by. Yes, Councilor Wood, go ahead.
I would like to make notice of motion that at our next meeting, I'm going to be bringing forward a motion to change the date on our tax sale.
Okay, great, thank you. Anything else?
Well, yeah, because we'd already set a date for a tax sale within the last 12 months, that's just a requirement
Okay,
that we have to bring forward a motion saying we're changing it. Because you're changing a resolution that you passed within the last 12 months.
right.
It is a technicality.
Okay, great. Okay, thanks, Councilor Williams. Any other notice of motions that we don't know? That's the first of 2020, but that's great. That's nice to see. Thank you. Okay, number 8.1. There's an easement of tax.
Oh, that would be it.
That's part of it.
That was it, yeah.
Okay, if anybody's wondering. So in camera session, anything to do tonight in camera?
We just have one thing to discuss.
Okay, so can I get a motion to take us out of this meeting and go into camera? Councilor Williams, Councilor Wright. All in favor? Great, thank you.
This conference will now be recorded.
Now, we need a motion for, I didn't want to word that there.
Do you want to just say use the meeting rooms?
Mhm.
I would say that somehow along the lines that we let our rec facility manager work with the user groups to find a room appropriate for their meetings.
Can I get a seconder for that, please? Councilor Cowan. Okay, any more discussion? Everybody understands what we're doing?
Can I just ask for a bit of an amendment?
Mhm.
User groups to accommodate their monthly meetings? 'Cause we
Yes.
don't-
Yeah.
Monthly
Yeah.
meetings, free of charge, with the understanding a paid booking may cause,
Override. Yeah.
understanding a paid booking may cause it to be rescheduled, something to that effect.
That's good.
Yeah.
Sounds good there.
May result in user group meeting having to be rescheduled.
Do you want that motion read out so everybody knows? Are we
I'm-
okay?
I'm good with that.
I mean, if they rescheduled or relocated, because we could always offer them upstairs here too, if, you know, if that was an option for them as well.
I think we're just trying to make it clear that we want to work with people so they can have their meetings, but we know things can change.
Okay, if there's no more discussion, I'll call for the question. All those in favor? Opposed? Carried. Great, thank you.
That was 6.
Okay, yeah. Okay, if there's nothing else,
I just have a question.
yes,
So how are the new trucks doing? Like we bought 2, correct?
Yes,
And how are they working out for us?
good, perfect.
Good? They were
Yeah.
both for waterworks or?
yes.
Yeah, and our new manager has the one, and the other one's the on-call truck.
Oh, good. Perfect.
So, because it'll be the one that would go pull the flusher or do anything like that.
Perfect. Thank you.
Okay, if there's nothing else, and there's no more questions, suggestions, and/or whatever, I will get somebody to make a motion that we adjourn. Councilor Williams, Councilor Cowan, and Councilor Wright. We don't want to leave her. All right, all in favor? Opposed, if any? Carried.
Everybody's carried.
Everything's carried. Thank you all very much. Very short meeting. Nice for the notice of motion. We'll have to keep that on mark down there. That was excellent. And